Prior Philip has a vision, a glorious dream. He wants to build the most beautiful cathedral in all of England. Will you help him? Go on, help him. Go on. It's Pillars of the Earth. Hello, welcome to the Bottled Imp. My name is Ken Follett, and we explore the realms of fantasy. That's what we do on this show. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Pillars of the Earth. Now, this is a 2 to 4 player. It's a worker placement game, and it is actually based on Ken Follett's international best-selling book of about 20 years ago. It takes 90 to 100 minutes to play. Now, I have read the book. I read that years ago when I was in America. Somebody actually gave me the book saying, well, you've obviously visited these cathedrals, because as you can tell, it's all about cathedrals. Now, when I found out that then there was a board game, well, I couldn't resist. So, is it any good? Let's find out. So, what is the object of Pillars of the Earth? How do you win the game? Well, it's quite simple. You win the game by getting as many victory points as possible, and you score those on this track that runs along the edge of the board. And each of you will have a little marker, and you keep score like that. It's very simple. But why do you want victory points? Well, you are all trying to help Prior Philip, build his beautiful cathedral. And they've even got little figures here, little wooden blocks to denote the cathedral as it's being built. So in some respects, it's a co-op game. You're all trying to build the cathedral, but it's not really a co-op game because, as I say, you're trying to get as many victory points to beat other people. And you get victory points by placing your workers, little worker there, placing your workers in an area that will get you resources. And there's 4 different types of resources. There's wood, there's stone, and there's also sand. And the last one is metal. Now, metal, you can't actually place a worker into metal. You get metal through other ways, and we'll go into that as we explore the game. Now, each player will get various things. They will get a master builder. You get 3 of these, 3 master builders. As I say, you'll get your workers, you get 7 little ones, and you get 1 big one. And the little ones are worth 1, and the big ones are worth 5. You also get a little card. Each player will get a little card that tells you the game turn sequence. So when we get into talking about the rounds, it tells you what actually the round is made up of. Did that make sense? Tells you what the round, which is in order. I don't know what I'm saying now. Anyway, it also tells you what the craftsman requirements are, because to begin the game, each of you will get exactly the same craftspeople, and you get a mortar mixer. You will also get a woodworker, and you will also get a stone cutter. So with these are actually your craftspeople that will tell you what they have, how they convert your resources that you've gained into victory points. So, for example, the stone cutter, well, as you've probably guessed, it cuts stone, and you need 2 of those, 2 little cubes, to equal 1 victory point. And you can do that 4 times per round. So with the mixed mortar, you get 3 sand, and that gives you 1 victory point. So he's actually slightly more economical. Plus you get the woodworker. So you get 2 wood, if you like. And that gives you 1 victory point. And again, it tells you how many times you can do that at the end of the round. Now, during the game, you can actually upgrade these craftspeople. And that is probably the best strategy to winning. So, once you've got all of that, you then... Well, I'll tell you a little about this little black guy here. He is Otto, and that's he's Otto. He's a master builder as well, but he's an extra worker that you can get. Now, there is a special character that will give you Otto if you claim that character, but we'll get into that. So, how do you actually play a round? As I say, it's 6 rounds. So what you need to do is set up the board like this. you will have all your resources set out in their various areas. You need to put this black marker here. You also need to put a metal in this taxation area over here. You need to put all the different colour markers on 2. For some reason everybody starts off with 2 victory points. I guess it means that at least you've got 2 victory points if you don't get any other during the game, so you're not a total loser. You also need to have the little metal cubes off to the side of the board. Now, the starting player is actually the one that's gone to a cathedral last. As it happens, I went about 3 weeks ago, so if I was playing now, I'd be in pretty good shape to actually go first. And if you do go first, you get the advantage of putting your master builder onto the board first, but then you get a disadvantage because you only get 20 gold to begin with. And then it's clockwise, so if green was sitting clockwise next to me, he'd be getting 21, and then yellow would be 22, and red would be getting 23 gold. So if you do go last, you do get an advantage of getting 3 extra gold. So what you also need to do is, we'll just remove those because each player will have those. These are the privilege cards. And these are the backs. Now 2 of them actually will have special symbols on them. And what you need to do is take those away, put them to one side. Now these are actual characters that you can actually collect during the game. And they've got various special abilities. Now what you do is you shuffle the remaining ones, if I can shuffle that is. And you simply remove 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you put them out of the game. And I think that's quite good because it means that no game is going to be the same. And then what you do is you then flip over 2, and that's ready for the first round. Now the rest of the pack you will be using, but I'm just going to put it down here for this review. And the next thing you need to do is each round will have better craftspeople that again you can either buy or you can get for free. And on the backs of them denote which round it is. So for round 1 you're going to be using these ones. For round 2 obviously you use the ones with 2, and for round 3, 3, etc, etc. So we're going to be using round 1, so we'll just take those. Oh, and round 1 you need to shuffle these, and then what you do is you put the first 2 out here, and then you also put the second 2 down here. Then what you need to do is you take the event cards, which are here. Now these event cards are various things. They're 2 different types, good and bad. The good ones actually have a little red seal here, so when you flip them over you'll instantly know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. As you can see, that one hasn't. So again, what you do is you shuffle these, and again to keep it fresh you take 4 out, and you won't be playing with those ones. And then you simply put the rest where the event card should go, which is here in place number 1. Then what you need to do after that is take the resources cards. Now each resource card has a different amount of workers that you need to work that resource. So for example, this first one here, this is a quarry, so you're going to get stone, and you'll get 3 stone if you put 8 of your workers into the quarry. Equally, this here is the gravel pit, so you'll get sand, and you need to put 2 workers. So sand is obviously cheaper than stone. And you've got wood, so here we've got the forest, and that one will get you 3 cubes of wood, and you need to put 6 workers in. So there's different costs depending on which one you actually want to get. Now what you do is you shuffle those, and again you lay them out here. And each time you just lay, there's only enough space for 7, I'll put that there. So each time there's going to be 2 left over. So again, it keeps it fresh. You'll never know exactly which ones are going to come out. So you put those to one side. And then, how does a round work? Well, everybody, first of all, will be deciding which resource they're going to be collecting, and they don't have to, but they could buy a better craftsperson. So the starting player goes first. So the starting player in this case is blue, So blue may decide to buy a craftsperson, but obviously it actually costs gold. So for example, this one costs you 2 gold, which is here in this corner here. Now here's a tool maker, so for every 1 metal that you cash in at the end of the round, you're going to get 2 gold. So for example, this one here, this is a better mortar mixer, and that costs you 4 gold. So for example, 2 sand gives you 1 victory point. So they're going to be upgrading as the rounds go on. So by round 6, the craftspeople are really, really good. They're really efficient at what they do. Now, you could buy those, but let's say you don't. So I'm not going to buy those. Now, what I'm going to do is say maybe go for the quarry. So I'm going to pick this one. Now, this needs 10 workers to get 4 stone. So I would put 10 workers. So that would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And basically I then keep that until the end of the round and we cash in the resources. So then what you do is everybody, you take it in turns. So all of these cards will have been taken, or at least most of them. And maybe one of the craftsmen or 2 of the craftsmen will have gone as well. So everybody will have their workers in either the quarry, the gravel pit and the forest, or if you don't want to, you can get gold. You can put them here. Let me just move that out of the way. You can put them in the wool mill. So for any workers that you've got there, you'll get one gold. So that's another thing to bear in mind, because you do need gold, because obviously you may want to buy the better craftspeople as the game progresses. So then what you do is, once you've got all the resources divvied up, you then get, where did I put it? Oh no, the magical bag of doom. Where is it? I've lost the bag. Oh no. Can we cut here? Left it. I put it here. We'll have to cut. Where did the bag get? Haha! Right, let's do it again. The magical bag of doom. As you can see, it's a black bag. So what you do is everybody puts their master workers into the bag. Woohoo! And the starting player, in this case it's blue, gets to pull one of the master builders out. And it happens to be a yellow. Now he's got a choice. He has 1 veto per round. And the starting player can change each round. Now, I personally might want to place my blue master builder on the board first. So I do have a choice. I can either let yellow go first, or I can chuck yellow back in the bag and hopefully pick out a blue. No, it was yellow again. So fate decried that yellow is going to go first. Now, sometimes obviously I might have pulled out a blue and that would be to my advantage. Now, yellow has a choice. Yellow can either go first and pay 7, because it's on the 7 marker. And if they do, then yellow would pay 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go. And yellow then chooses where they want to go. Now, let's say yellow goes here, and we'll go through each area of the board in a second. So then you move the score marker down here, and the next person does that. So green. Now green says, actually I don't want to pay 6 to go next. So you move the marker down and you put green onto 6. And you just keep going. Oh, it's green again. So this time maybe green wants to pay 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at the end of the game, at the end of the round, after you've pulled out all of these, they're going to be placed all over the board. And you just keep going. There's blue at last. Let's go here. So all of these are going to be pulled out of the bag, and each time they just go down 1. So when you get to 0, then you resolve what happens here. So if anybody didn't pay, they then get to go put their ones out last. So obviously you've got to work out, shall I pay gold to get the best spots on the board, or shall I wait and see what's left? It's up to you, and that is part of the strategy. So once that's done, you then simply resolve each space on the board. So let's go through it. So event is pretty simple. You flip over the event, and this one, it actually says, William Hamley demands new taxes. Each player loses 4 gold. And it didn't have a seal, so obviously I knew instantly it wasn't going to be good. So if you didn't have any gold, then you'd have to be giving victory points, which is never a good thing. So that's simple. You flip that over. Now the second one is the Archbishop's office. And if somebody had gone there, so let's say green had gone there, he gets a choice. He can either ignore the event, so in this case it's not a very good event, so he probably would choose to ignore that event. But if it was a good one, say you get gold or you get an extra resource, he'd probably want that one, so therefore he can choose to take one of the resources from the market. Now the metal is the most valuable resource, so probably you'd take metal. You don't have to, but you get to pick one. So you can either ignore the event card or pick a resource. Then number 3 is at the wool mill, and as I say, if anyone's got any workers placed here, they get 1 gold per worker, so in this case blue would get 2. The next one is Kingsbridge Priory, and that is victory points. So if anyone had gone there, they would instantly get 2 victory points, so you'd just move that up. And if somebody had gone next to it, you get 1 victory point. And then you get to divide the resources up, because we're going to the forest. So if anyone had put any workers there, you simply take that and give them how many resources they require that says on their card. Then you would go to the quarry and do the same, and then you'd go to the gravel pit and do the same there. The next one is the King's Court, and this is all about taxation. So if somebody else had gone there as well, anyone that goes here is exempt from taxes apart from the event one. Yellow, for example, went there first, so they get a little bonus. They will also get the blue square, the metal resource, whereas blue only gets to not pay tax. So because, let's say, red, green didn't go there, we would then roll the die to see how much they have to pay, and in this case it was 4, so they would have to pay 4 gold. And again, if you don't have any gold, you have to pay in victory points, and again, that's never a good thing. Now the next little square here is you then get to take a craftsperson. Now for example, this one is a mason. 1 stone, you can do that twice for 1 victory point. Now obviously it's free because that person has gone there. If someone else had gone there, they would do the same. And I did neglect to go here first actually, because this one here is a similar thing. If anyone had put their little master builder on this square, they would then get this one. And in fact, this is Otto Blackface joins your crew, and you get another worker, which is the little meeple here. Brilliant. And then we go to the next one. Now if anyone had put their little master builder here, they would have got 2 extra workers for the next round, and that can be quite valuable. And then we go to the market, and here you can buy and sell resources. Sand is the cheapest, that's 2 gold. Wood is the next one, that's 3. Stone is 4, and you can only sell metal, you can't buy metal, which is why if you get the option to take it from here, from the Archbishop's office, it's probably a good thing. And the market goes in turn order, so if there was 2 or 3 people that were here, then obviously it would go green first because he was there. 1, 2, 3, and you keep going until all the resources are gone or nobody wants to buy or sell anything. And the next one is you then build the cathedral. So hurrah, you get to put the first square down. And then you have, if somebody had gone here, that changes the starting player, and they then get to pull out from the bag and have the advantage there. And so what you do is, after that, you divvy out the resources, as in you cash in your resources, I should say, to victory points. So say I had, resources enough to get me 10 victory points, you would simply convert that and move everybody up how many victory points they get. And that is the end of 1 round. You do that 6 times, and then whoever has the most victory points wins. Anyway, what do I think about the game? I think it's fantastic. It's a really good game. The components are very well done. It's high quality components. The artwork is fantastic. Even the in tray is brilliant. So when you unpack the box, it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. There's good strategy. I would say it's probably a light to midweight entry level kind of game. So if somebody isn't into gaming, they probably will enjoy that, because it is very easy to get the idea of, to pick it up pretty quickly. And it's got some good balancing mechanisms. You can, as I say, if you go first, you don't get as many gold. And I just think that the only downside is there's not too much player interaction. But then, hey, I guess it isn't this kind of game. It isn't a negotiating game. It isn't a trading game. But it is a lot of fun. And if you played Catan, or Settlers of Catan as it used to be known, it's probably the same sort of strategy level. I would thoroughly recommend it. Go out, check out Pillars of the Earth. Let me know what you think. It's great. Thank you once again for watching another Bottled Imp review. We hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, Pillars of the Earth, go check it out. It's a really solid game. You can follow us on Twitter. Obviously, you can check us out on our Facebook page. And again, we keep promising a website. Hopefully, by the time this has gone out, we have a website up and running. Yay! Until next time, fellow imps, thanks for watching.